Welcome to A Song of Ice and Fire Symposium. My name is Nav,
And I'm Harmit.
and this is a Game of Thrones, chapters 59, 60, and 61. Catelyn, Jon, and Daenerys. In these chapters, Robb plans his marriage. Jon gets reminded that he can never have a marriage. Dany's not okay with rape unless it's within a marriage.
Oh my gosh.
It's true. She's like, you can rape them all you want as long as you marry him. And I'm like, okay, I guess.
I guess she's just thinking about her circumstance. And she's like, oh,
Yeah.
well, now I'm like settled.
It worked out for me. Yeah. Welcome to the podcast, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. We will rock this. I don't know. Is that a thing? That's a thing, right?
That's a song.
Oh, okay.
We will rock you. Rock you. It's like a fun little song.
Cool. Okay. What did you think of these chapters?
Not gonna lie, Dany's chapter was so boring. The other ones were really good.
Okay. Well, during your predictions, you were like, "Oh, I don't want to read Daddy's chapter. It's gonna be war." And I was like, "What are you talking about? It's not gonna be war." Meanwhile, I was like, "It's totally gonna be war," in my head.
Oh my gosh.
For me, it wasn't so much boring as it was hard to read.
I think, like, I always, like, because we've had a few Dany chapters now where we just, like, are confronted with, like, rape or some form of harassment from Viserys, and I feel like because I'm trying to tune them out, I remember them as boring because I'm trying not to, like, remember
Think about
what
it.
actually happened.
Yeah.
So in my mind, it's like, oh, that was boring. Nothing really happened. But really, I'm just shutting everything out.
Right. So, good initial thoughts. Let's do our summary. Let me pull out a timer. Okay.
Very cool.
I'm going to do it on my computer today. Okay. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so we're here with Catelyn and Robb's army, and they're all, like, you know, moving towards the twins, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be late Lord Frey, and then they're getting news from, you know, Brendan, who's up ahead at the front of the pack, and he's like, oh, well, you know, he has a lot of men prepared, as though he's, like, ready to fight someone, and they're like, oh my gosh, what's he gonna do? And then, so Catelyn has to go talk to him, and then she pretty much has to agree on a lot of things that she doesn't want to agree on, because he's like, you know what? I never liked your guys' families anyway. And then he finally lets them cross. Who's next? Oh, Jon. Okay, cool. So Jon's talking to Mr. Mormont, and he gives him, what's his name? Oh, Claw. He gives him Claw.
Long Claw.
Long Claw, yes. And that's a whole event, and Jon's like, I should be so happy and proud, but instead, I'm just miserable. And it's this whole long thing, and Sam's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Jon, like, I just had to be honest, like, Maester Aemon's a genius.
Okay,
he just
switch.
Knew. What's next? Oh, Dany, huh? What happens? Oh, they're at the grass near the Dothraki Sea, and, Khal Ogo's party was there, or no, Khal Ogo's Khalazar was there, and then Khal Drogo's Khalazar defeated them, which is just so funny because the names. And,
Ogo, Fogo, Drogo.
Yes, and we meet Missy.
Miri.
We meet Miri, yeah.
Okay, that's it.
Third time's the charm. Anyway, I literally said nothing in those summaries. I took so long to get to the point.
Yes.
Eek.
We are a bit rusty.
Yes, it's okay.
All right. Well, what do we do? Oh, yes, we talk about the chapters now. Let's try to do more than, like, summarizing them this time. Let's, like, give our opinions, okay?
We always do that, though.
Yeah, but I want more of your opinions. I want them all.
Okay, cool.
All right. Start.
Okay, so as per the one thing that I actually said in the summary, Rob's army, approaches the twins, and Cat is afraid of her family.
Oh no. For her family, not of her family.
Oh!
Sorry, that was Harmouth reading my notes where I made a typo. We're in Kat's head, and she's like,
sorry,
oh.
I thought I remembered it wrong, and I was like, wait, what did Rob do? And I couldn't remember what Rob did.
No, she's like, oh my god, my dad's dying, my brother's dying, my husband's dying, my kids are dying.
Yeah, and she's thinking about Rob, and she's like, okay, I can see the Ned in him, but is he smart enough yet? Can he do this?
Yeah, well, because he's doing the thing where he rides with one of his bannermen in turn and considers all their advice. And, that's a thing we know Ned used to do as well. So, he's learned that from him. And Catelyn's like, well. I don't know. She's kind of like, okay, that's good. But is it enough? Basically. Yeah. And so, oh my gosh, so many typos. Okay. Sorry, I just noticed another typo.
Okay, so then
no, wait. Sorry. Give me a second. I'm having an internal. Have you ever been just randomly about your day and then you remember something really embarrassing you did 5 years ago and then you have to feel the pain?
Yeah.
That's me right now.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Getting over that. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so the Blackfish is up ahead and he's kind of, surveying the area and seeing what's going on. And they get news from his outriders that there's 4,000 troops gathered at the Twins that Lord Frey has called. And they're like, And Rob's like, oh my gosh, he's gonna give us more, he's gonna add to our army. What a great guy. And Catelyn's like, yeah, the only way you're gonna be happy is if you expect nothing from this dude.
Yeah. To be exact, she says, expect nothing of Walder Frey and you will never be surprised. He is he's an old man. No. He has an old man's caution and a young man's ambition and has never lacked for cunning. So interesting dude.
Interesting.
I mean,
and
you remember the things we've heard about him, right? How he always shows up to the battle late when the winner has been decided. And he's like, yes, I was totally going to fight on your side.
Yes, exactly. He's not willing to risk anything of himself.
Yes.
Interesting.
Smart, though.
Yeah, smart. Very smart. I mean, he's still getting what he wants, so smart.
Yeah, just not very honorable.
Yeah, Ned would not be happy. He's not happy.
So, yeah, they're talking about him, and they, travel. And that night, Theon comes through with another report, and he's like, oh, we killed all these scouts, and they won't know we're coming. I don't know. He's such a dick.
Yeah.
Sorry, asshole. Thoughts. Oh yeah, basically he's reporting that they killed Tywin's scouts, so Tywin won't be aware of their movements. And Catelyn's like, yeah, unless Walder Frey tells them. So you better, ensure that any birds that leave the castle, the twins, get shot down. And apparently Sir Brendan's already seen to it, so yay!
Yes,
they're
job,
both
Blackfish.
thinking ahead. Yeah.
Yes, good on them. And this Rob's like, okay, you know what? We're gonna do this. We're gonna cross.
No matter what, even if I have to fight them.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, you know what? I have the power, I have the army, I'm good to go. And Kat's like, yeah, but by the time you do that, Tywin's gonna sneak up on you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you want that. And he's like, oh.
For sure.
Wait. Yeah. And so then, the next morning, our lovely friend, the Blackfish, I was going to say Brendan, and then I didn't know if I was saying it wrong. So
Yeah,
it's like Blackfish.
Brendan
Okay.
Blackfish.
Okay, cool. So then the next morning, the Blackfish comes, and he's like, "Oh, Edmure has been wounded and captured, and
River runs under siege.
Yeah.
So y'all better hurry, basically.
Yeah, like, we are not doing too great around here." And Rob's like, "Oh my gosh, we have to get this done. You know what? I'm
gonna tear this castle down
takes."
if I have to.
Yeah, pretty much he's just mad and he's just saying stuff.
Yeah.
At this point.
And Catelyn's like, yeah, the Freys have held the crossing for 600 years, and for 600 years, they have never failed to exact their toll.
Yeah.
And Rob's like, yeah, but what if I decide not to pay the toll? And Catelyn's like, oh, Ned, you've taught him valor. Have you taught him wisdom? And she thinks to herself, did you teach him to kneel? And it's like this reflection that she doesn't know about, but like, will Ned himself kneel? Because that's the dilemma he's currently facing.
I know. It's like, how can Ned teach him to kneel if
he himself? Yeah. So like what Rob does here, maybe that is reflective of what Ned might do. Or maybe Rob is advanced and has learned beyond what Ned taught him. I don't know.
Yes. But I feel like that also, I like that, because then it's kind of like Ned and Catelyn have these like not opposite traits, but like different traits from each other, like complementary traits.
Right.
Nice.
Like Catelyn's always like, just kneel. And Ned's like, don't. I don't know. They're both like honor, whatever.
Yeah.
I think Catelyn, like the Tully house words are family, duty, honor. So like they're pretty up with the stars.
Yeah, but that's the order, you know? I think that's like the only difference. Like, I'm not saying like,
family comes before honor kind of thing. Yeah,
it's kind of like, okay, we need to preserve ourselves and like be alive.
Okay, good point. What else happens? Wow, we're not even like a third of the way through the first of 3 chapters.
It's okay. It's okay, we got it. We're just warming up.
Okay.
So then they finally get to the... Did not mean to do that. They finally get to the twins, and, you know, a couple of our lovely Lord Frey's sons come and, like, greet them. And they're like, hey, you know, our dad wants to see Rob and, you know, have a meal with you. And everybody is instantly like...
Nope.
Nope. What if he does this to you? What if he just wants to do this? What if he just
very
wants to do
loudly,
this?
right in front of the phrase, and Catelyn's like seeing that they're losing the opportunity to bargain, and she's like, "I'll go. Just let me go." And then the phrase leave like one of their own behind as like collateral. I don't know, like.
Yeah.
Keep him like, until we return Cat, you know?
Yeah, like, you have our son. Or, sorry, yeah, like, you have our son.
It's not really equal, though, because he's, like, one of 21 sons, and Rob only has one mother. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Not to say that his life is invaluable, but, you know, it's not the same.
Yeah. And especially to the Lord Frey, I feel like, to him, it's kind of like, I have 21 sons, not I have, like, Dexter and Jacob, you know?
He doesn't even remember their names.
Yeah. Like,
he's like, they're probably named Walder.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because, like, people keep naming their kids Walder in hopes that he'll favor them.
Yeah, because there's so many of them.
Yeah. It's
like, what's the thing? I can't think of the thing, but it's just, like, a competition for survival. And we find out, when they came out to, like, meet the party, and they were like, oh, this is Walter Frey's oldest son, and he's 60. I was like, wait, how old is Walter Frey?
Walder,
and then Walder Frey. And then we find out that he's 90,
yes.
And he has a wife that's 16. Like, I'm sorry. Just let that sink in.
He probably has great-grandchildren that are older than her. And she's wife number 8, apparently.
Yeah.
It's a little gross. Not gonna be...
Anyway,
yeah.
He skips the pleasantries, and he's like, you know what? Just don't even try to be polite with me. What are you here for? And
all his sons are like, oh, how could you? She's a noble guest.
Yeah.
Sorry,
and then
sometimes I make myself laugh.
And then he's like, you were still in diapers when blah 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 happened. He's talking to like his 60-year-old kid, which is just weird.
Yeah.
Like imagine saying to someone who's 60, like, oh, you were
he's
still
not
in
even
diapers
insulting
when
the kids, he's insulting their mothers.
Yeah.
Like, your mother was a milkmaid. Like, I gave her my slut. Sorry.
Seed.
Just at the thought of that word, it made me gag a little.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
but
he's
then
gross.
Eventually he's like, okay, I'm gonna kiss your hand with my gross face.
And I was like, it would have been better if you didn't. Like, I'm sure Catelyn
I was like,
would have
that's the
preferred.
courtesy you think she wants? Like, okay.
Uh,
Catelyn's like, hey, like, I thought you'd be, like, protecting the person you're sworn to or whatever. And he's like, oh, yeah, sorry, like, we just got caught up on things, and by the time we were gonna come, you guys lost, so...
Yeah, I totally planned to be there.
Exactly. And she's like, okay, well, can we talk? And he's like, didn't you hear? Can you guys leave?
hold on. When he's like, we totally planned to be there, Catelyn thinks to herself that I would gladly have spitted the querulous old man and roasted him over a fire, but she only had till evenfall to open the bridge.
That was funny.
Yes. Sorry,
Yes.
Get back on point.
Good on her for suppressing that, because that would be intense.
Not courteous. No, wait. Not courteous? That's the word.
Yeah. And so Walder Frey's like, y'all, get out of here. And there's a lot of people in the room, like all the grandchildren, all the grandchildren.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people.
Hold on, I have a little bit of a tally of all his descendants. He has 21 sons, 36 grandsons, 19 great-grandsons, and we are not given the number of daughters, granddaughters, bastards, and grand-bastards.
Oh my, that is...
A lot. Like, not only has he had 8 wives, he's also, like, fathered bastards. Like, dude. Okay, sorry.
Dude, like, calm down.
He's just so gross. Okay.
I know. And he's like, and as soon as they leave, he's like, they just want me to die. My oldest son is just jealous because he doesn't get to get my position yet. Yeah. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm jealous of a 90-year-old man. And Kat's like, well, we have an army, so you better let us cross. And then Frey, tells us what we already know, and he's like, yeah, well, you can try to attack, but by then you're gonna get caught by Tywin. And she's like, you swore to my father.
Yeah.
Like, she's trying to think of, like, different things that, like, might make him listen. And he's like, yeah, I've also sworn oaths to the crown, so you're not that special. He's like, why would I help you? And then they're talking, and he's like, oh, I'm not helping the Lannisters because Tywin thinks he's all that, but he also farts like I do.
Yeah, and
so
he's only got 2 sons. What has he got to be so proud of?
I'm like, sorry, that's what makes you better than someone? Like, okay.
Well, have you not seen his family?
Oh my gosh, yeah, wow, great achievements. But yeah, he pretty much tells all the reasons why he's not too fond of the Tullys or the Starks. He's like, your dad didn't come to my 2 of my last 2 weddings. Like, that wasn't very kind. And then,
and also, he refused to marry one of my daughters to one of his sons, his only son, really, but,
Yeah.
and, okay, now, this is where it gets interesting. He says that Lysa got mad at him when he proposed to foster her son, and we know how Lysa is. Like, she wanted to throw Catelyn out the moon door when Catelyn proposed the same thing. But according to Walder Frey, Jon Arryn was planning on fostering Robert Arryn at Dragonstone with Stannis. And Catelyn's like, I'm pretty sure it was with Tywin at Casterly
And
Rock.
was that, who was the person we had that one conversation with?
It was the
where it got cut
maester
off?
it was the maester at the Eyrie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like there's two people who are like, oh yeah, he was gonna foster his son at Dragonstone. And Catelyn's like, no, he wasn't. But
Yeah. But even, like, didn't, like, you know, the real late King Robert, didn't he also say, like, oh, Tywin offered to foster him?
right, like when Robert comes up to Winterfell and he's talking to Ned.
Yeah.
Ned's like, let me foster the kid. And Robert's like, yeah, I already asked Tywin to do it.
Yeah.
So it
but
seems
that's-
like John Aaron's plan was to foster his kid at Dragonstone. But after he died, the plans changed. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or
I
like he didn't
guess-
share his wishes with people, so like
Yeah.
they didn't get fulfilled. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think about this?
I don't know. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, okay, well, some people know this and some people don't. So I was like, okay, maybe it just wasn't like, you know, he died before he could like fulfill the plan, or maybe like, you know, he was thinking of doing it with Tywin, and then he found out about the Lannister stuff and he was like, that's not safe. But then he got killed by the time he could actually like change his plan.
Oh, I
or
see.
Something.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
possible.
But I don't know. Hopefully we find out, because I feel like there's just so many possibilities that could be.
Mm-hmm.
Will I find out?
Mm-hmm. Moving
Okay.
on.
I guess we'll find out if I find out.
Yes.
And so there's all these reasons for being mad. And you know how the Lannisters are like, I'm gonna kill you to get what I want. It feels like Frey's plan is really just gain power through marrying everybody to everybody.
Yeah, maybe
like,
that's why he has all these kids. If he marries
Yeah.
like one of his kids to end like all the houses in Westeros, then he
Yeah.
has relations with everybody.
Exactly. He's like, oh my gosh, I'm so cool.
And
I'm so
and we
great."
learn in this chapter that while like one of his sons is married to Tywin's sister, so like that seems
Yeah.
to be a pretty big deal. Like I would say
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah, interesting. What did Tywin need done? Why did he agree to that? Or maybe he just like agreed. But I feel like Tywin would like have a reason to agree to that. you know?
Right. Or
He wouldn't just be like, "Hey, cool, let's do this."
marry my sister.
Yeah, I feel like he wouldn't think of Frey as like,
I think
like-
you're not taking in account that his sister may be older than him, which she is.
oh yeah, that makes sense. But it's still the Land Clan. I'm sure they have
Land
a
Clan's
history
clan.
of being the way they are.
Okay.
I'm sure they have a history. But anyway, why are we are
That's
going off?
yeah, besides the point. So similar to us, Catelyn and Walder Frey finally get to the point and they start haggling. And you know, we don't hear any of it, but we catch up with Catelyn when she's leaving the twins, and she tells Robb that Frey's agreed to let them cross and he will send his army to fight with them, minus like 400 people, which he'll keep to guard the towers. And she's like, you might also want to leave 400 people just to, you know, keep it online, keeping just making sure he keeps his vows. And
So is he like? So he's letting them cross. Is it like I couldn't understand? Like, is it like, oh, he can't let Tywin cross? Like, is there other parts to it as well?
like, okay, so he's letting them cross for now, for sure.
Yeah.
And he's keeping the army in case somebody else tries to cross. And with all the marriage pacts, it's pretty much like, okay, we're allies now, like, you know.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I'm not gonna, because the people fighting, his army is also fighting with Robb's army now. So
Yeah.
if he lets Tywin through, he's also kind of screwing over his own people,
Okay. Yeah.
which he might not be opposed to because he has so many people. But I don't know.
He could, I think at one point in the chapter they literally said like he could make an army just of his descendants.
Yeah. And so that's what he's given. And Catelyn has agreed to foster 2 Walder Freys at Winterfell. So they're going to get escorted there.
Hopefully they're, like, cool and not, like, awful, because this would be good for Bran, you know?
Yeah.
Bran
Well,
and
they
Rickon
are
could have,
7
like,
and
some
8, so
friends.
they're about his age. Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be a good thing. And Robb has to take Oliver Frey, Walder Frey's youngest son, as his squire. And Arya has to marry a certain Elmar Frey.
We don't like the sound of this.
No. And Rob's like, yeah, Arya's not gonna like that. Until Catelyn tells him that he also has to marry one of the daughters. And it says, to his credit, Rob did not flinch. That's a good line.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's basically
poor
like,
Rob and
what if I
Arya.
don't agree? Well, then you don't cross. So he agrees.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's cool. Like, it's good that you got through this. But when I was reading this, I was like, okay, but this is like really early on in the war. This is literally the first obstacle that you've come up against. And you've already, like, promised,
Yeah.
like, to marry somebody. Like, don't you want to keep that bargaining chip? Or, like, I
That's
get it.
true.
They have, like, 3 other kids, but still, you know?
Yeah, but also, like, Mr. Frey he has something stuck up his ass, so I don't think he would have, you know, in the haggling, I don't think he would have settled for anything less.
Right, maybe.
Especially since that's the stuff that's been, like, refused to him. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Marriages, and he has to get rid of some kids, and by
Yeah.
marrying them off. Yeah, but I'm just, like, saying, they gave up more than
Yeah.
I feel that they acknowledge right now, right? You know?
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, they cross the bridge with 90% of Rob's riders, like horsemen, and Roose Bolton stays on the other side and leads the foot army against Tywin.
Oh my gosh.
And that's that.
Interesting. Very
Yes.
interesting. We're getting into the war.
Yeah. We should hold on. Crap, I just tangled my hand in my little thing. Okay. We're fine. It is okay. All right, calm down. It's okay. I have a therapy session tomorrow. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
We should talk about predictions because these chapters are kind of unrelated a little bit.
Okay.
So will Rob succeed in his plans?
Okay, wait. What's his name? Jamie's the one who we're going to, right?
Yeah, Rob is going to River Run where Jamie has taken the castle under siege.
Okay, cool. And we have no idea the size of Jamie's army.
No, we do, but I don't remember it.
Okay,
It's about,
well,
I would guess, 15,000 people.
Okay, cool. So, you know what? I need to make some positive predictions lately. So, yes, he's gonna succeed. We might, lose a lot of people and, have stuff happen, but he's gonna succeed.
Okay.
We're
He's gonna succeed, but at a great cost.
Yes.
Okay. And so that's his part of the army. What about Roose Bolton's part of the army? Are they gonna succeed in fighting Tywin?
I don't think so.
So
I think that Tywin is going to beat them, and then Tywin is going to force a crossing over the
bridge.
Bridge. He's gonna force cross the bridge, fight everybody and then cross the bridge, and then he's gonna be losing people as he does it, and then he's gonna sneak up on Rob.
Okay. So brief victory is what you're predicting.
Yes.
All right. And what else? Will Walder Frey remember his vows, his promises that he's made?
I don't think he even remembers what the promises are.
The I'll be on your side.
Yes. I think, yes. I think the only thing we can be sure he cares about is that his kids get married to cool peeps. And then
Okay.
he can brag about it.
All right. Will Tywin learn of this plan to like
Wait, you know what I
split?
don't like?
What?
Tywin's name literally has win. I don't like that.
Tywin.
Will he? I think.
Well, it also
he
has tie
will.
in it, so maybe they'll tie.
Oh my gosh. I think that he will.
Je pense.
Je pense que...
You're like in a French oral test where you're trying to like think of an answer, so you just like delay.
Yes, he will. He will.
He will learn of the plan.
Yes. Well, I think he'll realize the plan after he, faces the whole army and he's like, "Where's Rob?" Or like,
oh, okay. So not in time, but eventually.
Yes.
Okay. And will Arya marry Elmar Frey?
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, we have to find Arya before she can marry someone, so...
Right. The deal is, like, if she makes it back, then we marry,
Yeah.
but if she doesn't, then obviously,
Yeah.
And, will Rob marry one of Walder's daughters?
Yes.
Okay. And will Catelyn foster two Walders?
Catelyn might die, so somebody will foster two Walders.
But they'll, like, end up at Winterfell.
Yes.
Okay.
We need some company for Bran and Rickon.
All right. Do you think this was, like, a smart thing they did?
In terms of, like, the plan, or in terms of, like, the bartering?
Everything. Like,
Everything?
did this end out, turn out well?
I think this is the best they could have done.
Okay.
I don't know if overall it's going to turn out how we want, but I think that they're being pretty conscientious.
The word. I don't know.
That word.
I also mess it up.
Conscientious.
Yes.
Something like that.
Okay, it's a word. I can spell it for you, but I can't say it for you.
Me too. That's literally how I feel about every word. But anyway, they're thinking their actions through. They know they're examining the long-term consequences, so I think they are good as of right now. I think Catelyn being there is really helping because, sometimes, like, especially in this chapter, like in the previous few chapters, we've seen Rob pretty, like, level-headed, except for that one chapter where he, like, looked like he was about to cry. But, like, this chapter, he was, like, getting mad. He's like, I'm gonna fight them. So I feel like Catelyn is gonna help with that. Help with the decision-making.
Yeah, she's an adult. He's 15. So,
yes.
Makes sense.
Yes.
Alrighty, let's move on to John Deere. Wait, that sounded like the tractor.
Hey, John Deere, transfer us. Sponsor, not I said like transfer.
I don't care about tractors. I'll be like, they mow the lawn. I don't know what tractors do.
Okay, John Deere, sponsor us. Anyway.
Don't. Okay, so John, we catch up with him. It's been a few days, and his hand is all burned.
I'm gonna drink some water while you
from
talk.
Burning the white. And now it's healing, because that's what burns do when you take care of them. As soon as you said, I'm gonna drink water while you talk, I was like, I don't remember how to talk anymore. So yeah. And, Mormont's like, hey dude, how you doing? And John's like, I'm fine. And he doesn't tell him about all the, like, stress dreams he's having about, like, fighting a white with Ned's face on it. And I was like, this is actually kind of really relatable, because all of my stress dreams, like, combine all the stresses I'm having in my life, because he's, like, stressed about fighting whites and worried about his dad, and it's, like, turned into one, and that's exactly what happens in my dreams.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I always, my nightmares are always, like, I'm in some sort of, like, like, those, like, like reality shows where you have to like face monsters and stuff, like different kind of stuff. Like mine is very like I don't know, it's like a movie, like it's like weirdly scripted. Like I know what's around the corner and I can like see it and then it comes, you know? But at the same time it's like I'm scared of it. It's like weird.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on.
Wow, that doesn't sound fun. For me, I don't have nightmares with like creatures or like monsters or anything. I just have nightmares of like real life things.
Yeah. See, I have both. Best of both worlds.
Worst of both worlds.
Yeah. So he's thinking about like, oh yeah, I've had these awful dreams, and the Rangers who were, you know, out exploring, I guess, weren't able to find any signs of Benjen. And they got a message about Barristan Selmy. Wasn't it from Barristan Selmy?
No, it's not from Barristan Selmy. It's from King's Landing, giving them an update on Barristan Selmy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So this is them learning that he was dismissed from the King's Guard, and that he killed, apparently, the people that were in to capture him, and fled.
I mean, he did say, I can take, like, 5 of you any day, so guess he can. And
yeah. And, like, even Mormont's like, what were they thinking? Sending, like, some, city watchmen after him? Like, do they not know him?
Yeah, and, you know, Mormont, we kind of get an insight on Mormont's feelings about this whole thing. He's like, oh my gosh, this child is a king, and, like, they let go of Barristan Selmy, and he has pretty similar feelings to us.
Right.
In that sense.
Wait, speaking of that, last chapter or episode, I forgot to ask you, do you think that letting Barristan go was a good move on the Land Clan's part? Like, by what you were saying, it feel like
from their perspective? Yeah, I don't think it was, well, yeah, I think it was a bad move, because he's really good, you know? And, like, obviously, I don't know, like, I've never seen Jaime and him fight, but, like, you know, Jaime was already in the King's Guard, y'all, like, he doesn't need to move up another rank, like, he's already at a pretty high rank, and I just feel like Barristan Selmy would have just been better at commanding everything, and he'd been doing it for so long. So,
like, it's a mistake on their part.
Yeah, it's a mistake.
Yeah, okay. And Mormont's worried because he was
also,
like
now Selmy can like go do something else and plot against them and use all of his skills. So
yeah,
not very smart.
What will he? Do you think he will?
But he's so like, oh my gosh, like the realm, you know. I think he will. I feel like he could be spiteful enough to be like.
So who is he going to team up with?
Ooh, oh my gosh. You know what would be cool is if he went to... Oh my gosh, he could go see his buddy Stannis. That could be kind of fun. Or he could... Well, I don't know if he'd be allowed to, but he could, like, just, like, come to the Night's Watch and, like, work as a person.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah, because he's, like, all into that honor thing, and the Night's Watch is... Yeah. He's like, yes, that's a good place for me to retire.
Yeah.
That's a good, I could see him doing that for sure. But Mormont is a little bit disappointed because Barristan was like the only sensible person left at court. Yeah. And now he's like, yeah, nobody's going to listen to us anymore. Not that they ever do.
Yeah.
They just
he's like, Pycelle never bothers to respond anyway. And I was like,
they tell us what they want us to know. And John's like, you tell me what you want me to know. But he doesn't say it out loud because he's, you know, passive aggressive.
Not supposed to
He's just thinking
stuff.
It. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mormont's like, okay, sit down, John. I got something for you. Oh shit! Wait, I forgot to tell. By the way, John knows that Rob's going off to war because Sam told him, all the while saying that he shouldn't.
Poor Sam.
Yeah, because he's like, you know, I shouldn't, but you're my friend, so I have to, but I shouldn't. Anyway, so yeah, Mormont sits him down, and he's like, take this sword. It belonged to my family for generations. Basically, he's like, I am calling you my family now. Take it.
Oh.
And it's Valyrian steel, which is like super rare. So I'm like, yeah, yes, please.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's
he's
gigantic.
Yeah, it's a hand and a halfer, also known as a bastard sword. So kind of fits John. And it has a pommel shaped like a white wolf, which is so thoughtful of Mormont to do.
Mm-hmm.
And when he gets it, John's reminded of like his childhood dreams. He dreamed of like saving his father, who would then name him a true Stark and give him ice. And then he feels guilty for wanting something that belongs to his brother.
Mm-hmm.
But then he's like, but you're not my father. Like, he's got all these complicated feelings.
Yeah.
I can relate to that. Oh my gosh, I'm so much more John than I want to admit I am.
Oh my gosh.
But so he's like, yeah, I don't deserve this. He's like, I'm not your son. You're not my dad. I don't want this. Like, that's what he's thinking. But Mormont's like, just don't say anything. I want you to have this because you saved my life. Thank God for thinking of fire. And I was like, wait, it was actually your raven. Yeah.
Yeah. That was my thought too. I was like, wait, that wasn't really him. But...
yeah. Maybe like Mormont didn't notice his raven going all fire, fire, fire.
Yeah.
Or burn. It didn't even say fire. It said burn, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, smart bird. We learned some interesting things about this bird this chapter, but we'll get to that. So Mormont's like reflecting on how the Night's Watch has forgotten how to deal with whites, and if the Night's Watch forgets, how will anybody else remember, like, all these things?
Mm-hmm.
And on one hand, it's like, yeah, this is like your entire purpose, you know, kind of. But also, the long night came 8,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, we don't even have records of, like, in our world from 8,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, in my mind, civilizations go back to maybe like 5,000 or 6,000 years, and then there's just like nothing.
Yeah.
So I get it. I get why they don't, but they have like, it's not like their civilization has fallen. They've maintained it, so they should have records from that time. But I don't know.
Yeah, but like, especially now, like, it's just so hard for them to maintain it, and even have people who like can maintain it.
Right, they're just so busy with the physical parts of it that they haven't thought about the educational pieces.
Yeah,
they don't have time or resources for that. But yeah. So at least he's on the right track. You know, we have one part of the realm that's like, yeah, all of this useless. See those White Walkers? That's what we should be focusing on.
Yeah.
And he calls them white shadows or pale shadows. Ooh, I don't know. That was a cool description.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm getting distracted again. What happens? Yeah, so John's like, you're not my dad, but I'll take it. What's it called? And Mormont's like, it was called Longclaw. And John's like, yeah, well, I'll call it Longclaw because, you know, wolves have claws too.
Oh my gosh. That's why I was just calling it claw, because I was like, oh, wolf claw, long claw.
Well, bear claw and wolf claw both have long claws.
Yes, that is true. But
did you just poke yourself in the eye?
I did. I did.
Well done.
Did.
Well done.
Thank you. I'm a master. I'm a master at arms? No. Master
at fingers.
Yes. So, speaking of master at arms, John is going to have a chance to practice with, you know, Longclaw with the new master at arms, Sir Andrew Tarth. Because Mormont is sending Sir Alistair to King's Landing because he wants him to show Joffrey the White's hand that Ghost tore off. So that's exciting. We won't have to deal with Alistair for at least a few weeks.
And that's also part of Mormont's, like, motivation to put some distance between him and Jon without making it seem like he approves of Jon's actions.
Yes.
Which he doesn't. He's like, I don't care for all that bullshit you did, so you better...
He's like, you have a man's sword, don't be a boy. And it's this whole dramatic moment.
Life boy. Okay. I don't... This is so...
Oh my gosh. So then he finally leaves, and he's like, okay, thanks. And then he's like, don't thank me. Thank the sword by doing good things with it. It's like a good little moment. And then he finally leaves, and everybody's like, hey, Jon, we already knew about the sword, bro. And like all his friends.
Congratulations. You deserve it.
Yes.
And Jon's like, but I'm not his son.
And Jon's having a little internal moment.
Yeah, he doesn't feel very happy about it. He's, in fact, angry. And I get it. Honestly, I was thinking about it. Because on the one hand, Mormont's like adopting him. And on the other hand, he's not telling Jon the truth about Robb going to war. Like, you can't have both, you know?
Yeah. You can't tell me to be a man while forcing me to be in the dark like a boy.
Exactly. Like, you either trust me and you think I'm your family, or you don't. Like,
but also at the same time, like, I also get it from Mormont's perspective, because Jon hasn't exactly proven himself to be calm when learning about these. Like, you know, when Alistair was like, I don't even remember what he said, but he said something about his dad, right? Like,
oh yeah, he was like, not just a bastard, a traitor's bastard.
Yeah. Like, you know, he doesn't take that stuff well, so I guess he's just trying to distance him.
I see both sides of it, but yeah.
But yeah, it from Jon's perspective, it does suck. And
especially now that I think it also sucks that Jon hasn't like told Mormont that he knows. I hate this passive aggressive thing. There's like keeping stuff to yourself. Yeah. Just like say it. Like, I know you did this, and like hash it out, you know? Don't just keep it inside you. But that's me. That's how Jon and I differ.
Yeah.
By the way, I hate you. I think you suck.
Good to know.
Okay.
So then we learned that the other White was cut near to pieces, but that was after he killed 5 men. Yeah. And one of them was Sir Jeremy Riker. So
he was kind of cool, and I don't know, I liked his name too. Yeah. And okay, the description.
I know.
Sir Jeremy had finished the job of hacking its head off, yet had died all the same when the headless corpse pulled his own dagger from its sheath and buried it in his bowels.
That's
like,
disgusting.
What can you do against a thing that doesn't die?
Yeah, like, that's... Like, what are you gonna do? You spend all your day, like, training and fighting, like, other people with swords? Like, how do you fight that thing? Like, that's just...
Yeah.
Sucks. Anyway, we're not gonna think about that right now, because... This is just so stressful, because we have this, like, war between the Starks and the Lannisters, and then we have winter coming, and then we have, like, Daenerys coming, and it's just, like, all these different things, and it's like, and then we don't even know what, what's his name? Stannis, yes. We don't even know what Stannis is up to, and, like, we're assuming it's good, but, like, we don't know. And also... I don't know, man. It's just
it's stressful.
Much. Anyway,
I know.
Moving on.
So sorry. I just got so excited.
So Jon goes to his room
and oh my gosh,
Ghost the sword. Yeah.
He doesn't go to show Ghost, but like when he sees Ghost, he's like, "Look, it's you!" And I was like, "Yes, so queen."
Okay. I know, that was cute. And Ghost was like, "Ooh." And I was like, this nice little...
Yeah, he licks his, like, image on the sword, and I'm like, I want one. Which is, I am, like, currently in a total battle with my family to get a dog or a cat. Just a pet. But, like, not fish or anything, because fish you can't cuddle with. But
I mean, you could, but it would be dead, so...
Yes.
Don't do that.
Yeah. But anyway, I was like, oh, this was like my favorite moment in all 3 chapters, probably.
Oh, that's cute. But yeah, the moment doesn't last too long, because then Sam comes in, and he's like, Maester Aemon wants to see you. And Jon's like, why? And Sam's like, and Jon's like, you told him! And then Jon gets mad, and he storms out, And so Sam told Maester Aemon that Sam had told Jon the details he wasn't supposed to.
Yeah, he told him that he had told him that.
That's why I said all the names. I was like, that's gonna be confusing.
Yeah.
So Jon storms out and he gets to Aemon, and Aemon's like, there's somebody else, and the other person leaves, and Jon's there, and Aemon's like, hey, feed the ravens, bro, with this meat. And
it's meat.
So Mormont's raven is rare because it likes fruit and corn. Interesting.
Well, like most ravens eat meat, so yeah.
Another thing that differentiates it, and even last time we were like, what? How did it say that thing that nobody else in the area said? Interesting.
You tell me.
Very interesting. And Aemon explains to Aemon's kind of
wait. You didn't tell me.
Oh well,
you need to tell me.
Okay, well, what I think is that the raven is different, and it can like think for itself. So it's just like saying what it thinks.
Did you say last time how it said that? Like
last time
it's different?
I don't know.
Remember.
I don't remember what I said, but I remember I did have a prediction. I just don't remember what it was.
I don't either. Well,
it's okay. Listeners, you'll know what it is.
Yeah.
Because that was like literally last week's episode, I think.
No.
Oh, no. That was a few
weeks
weeks ago. That was a few weeks ago. My bad. Me thinking that we just saw Jon, even though we haven't seen him for a couple of episodes. Yeah. Anyway, so Aemon's kind of beating around the bush. He's kind of telling all these like...
not beating around the bush. He is saying stuff that is like to the point. He's just not being very obvious about it. Like he's like, okay, whatever. Go ahead.
Okay,
well,
so
to me personally, beating about the bush is like talking about the weather while you need to discuss somebody's murder.
See, I feel like beating around the bush is like talking about murder weapons instead of the specific murder. So it's still like, related. But right. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. So Aemon's talking to Jon, and he's like, hey, do you know why nobody on the Night's Watch, marries or has kids? And then he pretty much explains that love is the bane of honor and the death of duty.
What just happened in your house?
Screams and running. Anyway, so because he's pretty much, but then he kind of goes on and talks, and he's like, yeah, like we don't marry and have kids, but we do still have family, like that pre-existing family, and that's where it gets tough, and sometimes you have to make a choice. And Jon's like, huh? And then Jon's like, you're saying I have to choose? No,
before even that, Aemon asks him what Ned would do if he had to choose between honor and love.
That's literally what he has to do.
Yeah, and like this is like, these couple chapters are a good reflection on what's going on elsewhere, Yeah. And Jon wants to say that Ned would never dishonor himself, but then he remembers that he's a bastard, and then he's like, Ned will do whatever's right, which is not really an answer, but makes sense. And then Aemon explains that the Night's Watch also doesn't take part in the battles of the realm because it could divide the people in the realm, because they have not people in the Watch because they come from various different parts of the realm, So, and he like recounts the bunch of times that people in the Night's Watch had to keep their vows instead of fighting for their loved ones. Apparently, Harren the Black, who was burned in Harrenhal by Aegon, his bro was at the Night's Watch and was commander, and he could have like totally gone and brought this army with him, but he kept his vows, like, these examples.
Yeah.
And I love this. He says, we all do our duty when there is no cost to it, but there comes a time for every man when he must choose between love and honor. And Jon's like, are you saying that it's the time for me? And he throws the bucket, and he like is all angry. And Aemon's like, yeah, I get it. It hurts. And Jon's like, no, you don't get it. And Aemon's like, have you heard anything I just said? I literally told you that for 8,000 years, people have been doing this.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jon's like, oh, but I'm different. And
Yeah.
Aemon's
And
like,
Aemon's
let me tell you about myself.
Mm-hmm. And do you want to tell us?
So, Aemon, so he pretty much was like, yeah, like there was 3 times in my life where I could have done something, but I made the decision and I stuck with it. And he's like, yeah, this recent time was the worst because my brother's son, my brother's grandson.
No,
and
my
all
brother's grandson, his son, like great-grandson.
Oh, yeah.
And then his kids, who were tiny
Yeah.
children, were killed. And John's like,
And-
wait a second, there's only one family that has all these, I don't know.
Yeah.
And he's like putting it together, and he
He's
asks
like,
Aemon
"Who
who
are
he is. Yeah. And I love his reply. He says, only a maester of the Citadel, bound in service to Castle Black and the Night's Watch. In my order, we put aside our house names when we take our vows and don the collar. My father was Maekar, the first of his name, and my brother Aegon reigned after him in my stead. My grandfather named me for Prince Aemon the Dragon Knight, who was his uncle, or his father, depending on which tale you believe. Aemon, he called me. Aemon Targaryen? John could scarcely believe it. Once, the old man said, once. So you see, John, I do know. And knowing, I will not tell you to stay or go. You must make that choice yourself, and live it all the rest of your days, as I have. Oh, that's so sad.
Poor Aemon.
Yeah.
Aemon.
Yeah.
Man.
It gotta suck. He's like, all of his family's dead now.
Yeah. That's...
Although, if our theory is true about John being Lyanna and Rhaegar's kid, then,
oh my gosh,
John's
that's
kind
crazy!
of his relative.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's crazy! Oh my gosh, that's funny. Oh my gosh, wait, I really want this to be true now.
Okay. Yeah. But, like, it's sad because he believes his family died and he didn't do anything about it,
Yeah. Yeah, and now John's face with the same choice.
Say that again.
and now John's faced with the same choice, and he has to decide what he's gonna do.
What do you think he'll do?
I think he will stay. Because I think, like, what's he gonna go do? Join the army and be an extra person? Like, great, one more person to die. Like, come on. He has to stay.
Wow, that was harsh.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's one person, and it's not like he's,
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
And, maybe if he's, he just really shouldn't leave. Like, I get, the emotional pull and everything, and, like, he's literally, like, this is something he's been thinking about for a while now. Like, oh my gosh, like, I'm gonna honor my family, and then, like, that's how I'm gonna prove myself, And that was literally his thing. Like, I'm gonna go to the Night's Watch, and I'm gonna honor my family, and then I'm gonna, like, finally be, like, a full part of my family. But...
Or, no, he was going to the Night's Watch to find honor outside of his family, because his family wouldn't take him.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
We know that I just don't remember anything from anything past, like, literally this chapter.
When we finish the book, you should totally reread the book. You know what? I'll lend you the audiobook. And then you can listen to it. I definitely should.
I feel like I don't even remember anything.
Yeah, you definitely should.
Yes.
It's only like a quick 35-hour audiobook, but it's fine.
Oh my gosh. But I feel like it'll be a good refresher. I'm losing my thought. I had another thought that I wanted to say. Now it's gone. Maybe it's in my notes. 1 second.
Go to them. The question I had asked was, what is John going to do?
Oh, I didn't even tell you what John was going to do. He is going to stay.
Okay.
Grudgingly. Yeah, he's gonna stay, and he's gonna be like, he's gonna be like, I really hope they figure this shit out.
Okay.
No, that doesn't sound like Jon.
Maybe he'll like hear about Rob's, brief victory, and he'll be like, "Oh, he's fine. I don't have to go."
Oh my gosh, it would be so interesting, but like almost impossible. So okay, so Jon's gonna stay, obviously, but maybe he like sends a letter to Alistair of all people to be like, I don't know, like do this, or like see how my family's doing, or something. Like, I don't know. Imagine that. That would be so funny. That would not happen.
Is high fantasy, not absolute improbable case study.
I know, but anyway, he's gonna stay. But I feel like he's not just gonna stay and do nothing. I feel like he's gonna do something dumb.
Okay. Okay.
But I don't know what.
All right. What's his relationship with Aemon gonna be? Is he gonna be all cool with Aemon because Aemon helped him out, or is he gonna be kind of weird towards him because, Aemon's family killed his family?
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, I think he's gonna understand, the concept of No, I think he'll be fine with Aemon. I think he might just be like, what the fuck, for a moment, but then he'll be like, you know what? Wasn't him. We cool. I feel like, I think just the fact that Aemon kind of like gets it will be enough.
Okay.
Kind of, yeah.
Create this bond between them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it doesn't even have to be a bond. It could just be like an understanding. Even if they never talk again, it'll be this like, yeah, you helped me.
Okay.
So I guess a bond. Yeah, I guess that is literally, I'm defining a bond. So yes, a bond.
James Bond. Okay. Okay.
Oh, but you know what?
What?
I guess his, his previous dreams, I don't know, like we just figured out, I don't remember the book, so I might be remembering this wrong, but his previous dreams were like him going to where the previous Starks are buried and stuff, right?
Yeah.
He was like being called there. So maybe that was kind of like foreshadowing for this, because he was like, he feels like he's called to serve, and like, he's like, I need to do something about this. Like my dad's about to die, my brother's marching to war, my brother's doing this thing, like...
So you think he'll have to go answer the call and help his brother?
I hope not.
Okay. So what he should do is stay, but he'll probably go?
No, he'll stay.
Okay, all right.
I don't
get you. Okay.
He'll stay.
All right. There was a question I was going to ask you. Oh, his sword. What's he going to do with it?
He's going to use it.
Really?
What do you mean, what's he going to do with it?
Like, it's, it's a really cool, rare sword. Like,
he'll, keep it safe. Well, I think he'll keep it on him now, since there's all this incoming danger.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he'll show it off and wear it all the time.
And will he accept that Mormont's kind of like adopting him?
I think he'll come to terms with it. I think he'll be like, you know what? Yeah, I think he'll accept it. I think he'll learn to think of it differently and not just be like, oh my gosh, this isn't my father. I think it'll be like, you know what? He can be a father figure without being my father. Or like just somebody somebody with authority doesn't have to be my father figure. I think he'll just come to terms with it differently.
Like, I can have two dads. Why not?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Will he stay mad at Sam, or will he forgive him?
He will forgive Sam.
Yeah, obviously.
Sam is a pure kiddo.
I love Sam. Sam is well.
Ha 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 ha.
Okay, sorry. I'm gonna go take a break. All right, let's move on to Danny.
Danny.
Go ahead.
Okay, cool. So Danny is riding through the spoils of war.
I just wanted to say that sentence. Yeah. I don't know why.
Yeah. So Dany's, this is the aftermath of what happened. So Khal Ogo's riders were attacking the Lazarene.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were attacking the Lazarene when Khal Drogo... Can we just talk about Khal Ogo and Khal Drogo?
I don't know. It's maybe a cultural thing.
I know, but it's funny that it rhymes. I just like it.
Well, Khal Ogo's son was named Fogo, so...
Really?
Yes, he became Khal as soon as Drogo killed Ogo, then Drogo killed Fogo, and now he's killed 2 Khals in one day.
Now we need to find a Khal Mogo. And then, anyway, so...
You don't even know. Okay, I don't know what to say.
Oh my gosh. So they were attacking the Lazarene. I don't know where the K came from. When Khal Drogo's Khalazar came upon them, and Drogo's riders killed both Ogo's riders, Ogo's men, and the Lazarene. So they really were like, yeah, we're gonna dominate this whole area. And they're taking people captive, and girls are being raped on top of corpses, and it's just
they were like
it's just not
toying
fun.
with the survivors. They're like making this kid run around, and when they're bored, they kill him finally. Yeah. It's just gross. Yeah. And Dany turns her face away from the atrocities and acknowledges, like, hey, this is the price for the Iron Throne, because, like, they're gonna, loot this town, enslave these people, and make money to get ships. Yeah. And then she's told, that the survivors will be sold into slavery, and as she's hearing this, she hears this girl cry out while she's being raped, and she, like, something clicks at her, and she's like, okay, I can't deal with this. Make them stop. Mm-hmm. And Jorah's like, you are your brother's sister, aren't you? Brother being Rhaegar, not Viserys. Mm. So what does that tell us about Rhaegar?
So maybe Rhaegar also didn't because everything we hear about the Targaryens, obviously, because we're on the Stark / Baratheon side of it. So I guess everything like in my mind, I was so shocked by this. I was like, in my mind, Rhaegar was this like awful person, but like really, we know nothing about Rhaegar. All we know is that his kids got killed, and he
abducted
didn't he
Lyanna.
Also kill someone? Yeah, he abducted Lyanna. I was like, I know he killed someone, but I couldn't like put my finger on it. Yeah, my finger on it. Couldn't put my
Don't
finger
put it on your eye.
But maybe, I guess it just means, like, he also had this, like, I don't want people to be tortured for no reason, like, kind of thing. Or
so maybe he was a better person that he's made out to be. Yeah. Or maybe he was just a better by comparison.
Yeah. Or maybe just a better person, like, to some people than others. And
like he was cool to his own people. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. But so let's get back to Dany. And I was thinking, okay, maybe this is like her relating to the situation of the people because she herself was sold as a sex slave. Mm-hmm. Right? Like I can see why. Obviously, she should do something about it. But first she chooses not to. And then she's like, I have to. So I'm just thinking about how she got from there to there. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the same thing. And I think also because, everybody else here has just been so exposed to that even if, like, they cared at one point, now it's just like, oh, well, this is how we do things, Yeah.
And I because, like, her handmaids and her, like, bodyguards are, like, joking around as they go through this.
Yeah, so I feel like it's definitely, like you said, like, that factor of, like, this is like, what kind of happened to me sort of thing. But then I think it's also just, like, what? It's this, like, shocking... Not shocking, but it's just, like, revolting. It's like, what? This is disgusting. I don't want to see this.
Yeah, and it kind of brings up the question, is the Iron Throne worth it? Like... Yeah. Like, in my opinion, war is the absolute last option. Like...
Yeah, like, is it really worth you doing all of this just so, like, you can be on the throne instead of somebody else, like, but I guess that's really, like, the entire book, you know? It's like, was it really worth it for Robert
any of it?
Yeah, for Robert to lead his rebellion is, you know, like...
Yeah, because, like, he led it for Lyanna, and she died anyway, so...
Yeah, exactly. And there's just... like, it's like that quote that just keeps coming up. Like, in the Game of Thrones, the innocent people are the ones who suffer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
War
hate
sucks.
it here. Anyway, and so...
Yeah. She, like... Hold on. Yeah, she tells her people to go stop all the raping, and when she gets to Drogo, she notices that he's wounded, and he's like, oh, it's just a scratch. I killed Khal Ogo and Khal Fogo, and I've got their bells in my hair now, so I'm so cool. Which is, sure, you are. But, so as they're, like, talking about this, one of the rapists comes to complain to Drogo about what Dany has been doing. And Dany's like, hey, this is what I think. And she's like, well, you know, you can marry them before you rape them, which is all sorts of problematic.
Yeah. But I guess, like...
Again, like, her situation where, like, it worked out for her, kinda. So she thinks it'll work out for everyone. Yeah. But Otho, one of the Khal's blood riders, is outraged at even the mere suggestion of quote-unquote breeding with the sheep. And Dany reminds him that the dragon feeds on horse and sheep alike. And Drogo's like, you see her? She's got my kid in her belly. He's filling her with fire. You know, because she has no personality of her own. But, like... Yeah, it's all so gross. I hate it. Okay. And basically, Drogo tells all the riders to go away and find other people to rape, because these people here belong to Dany.
Which is beside the point, but great for the people now who belong to Dany.
Yeah, but yeah, she seems satisfied and moves on to, like, talking about Drogo's wounds. And turns out he sent all his healers to heal other riders. Because, you know, he's cool like that. I don't know. Yeah. Like, I found that to be a thoughtful thing, even though, like, dude, if you die, the whole Khalasar falls apart. Yeah. Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah. It was obviously good, because he was like, oh, yeah, like, you know, help them. But it was also this thing of, like, oh, they need help before I do, because I'm just so, you know? Like, he's so like, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. But
yeah,
I didn't even think about it like that.
But it all just works with his personality, so that happens. But then he kind of, like, I don't know, he goes to do something, and then he's
flinches in pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Dany's like, oh no, we have to do something. And one of the Lazarene that Dany saved volunteers to heal him. Her name's Miri Mazdur. One of the Blood Riders calls her a Magi, which is like a evil witch type person. I don't know. And she's like, yeah, you know what? I've learned healing practices from various cultures. I am super educated.
And she does a bunch of name drops, and I was like, yes, queen, go off.
But they don't take her seriously until she says, oh, I also learned from a maester. And then they're like, oh, maester, like our people? Oh yeah, we trust you now. It was like, okay, so it's but I guess like all these other ways of healing that they didn't acknowledge. And I think it was mostly Jorah who was like, maesters, they do know how to heal. Like, as if other people don't. Okay.
Yeah. I guess, you're right. It was pretty, like, I don't know, like, is classist the word? Almost like, it was pretty
racist?
Like, oh, like, racist too, yeah. But like, but also, I'm losing my thought. It was also like, I guess, like, this is a stranger, right? Like, I guess you don't know for sure, like, if they, like, you know what I mean? Like, you just meet somebody and they're like, I'm a healer. I guess, like, you don't know. But
You don't want to take them for
since she
their
knew
word?
like the stuff about like the chains, he was like, oh, she does actually know what a maester is, you know? Like I guess
Okay.
it was like a point of reference. But I also agree with you. There was definitely like some racism there where they were like, oh, other people's healers can't be true. But also like they don't know if she's actually a healer.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
Like this is a complete stranger who like you just like your people just tried to rape, you know, like so it's kind of
they don't have a reason to trust her, even though so Dany feels she can trust her because she saved her.
Yeah.
So do you think that's true?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so, but I wouldn't be like certain on it, you know? But also like she could like yeah, but I think I do trust her. I think I agree with Dany.
Okay. Yeah, so Drogo agrees to let her, stitch him up, and Miri Mazdur leads Drogo to her temple and dresses his wounds all the time. Meanwhile, Kotho continues to threaten her with, like, anything happens to him, it'll happen to you. I don't know. And once she stitches him up, Miri Mazdur warns Drogo to avoid drinking wine and milk of the poppy while he's healing, and he's like, I'm the call, I do whatever I want.
Like, bruh, do you want to die?
Probably. And Dany refers back to how Miri Mazdur had mentioned something about her midwifery services.
Mm-hmm.
And Miri Mazdur's like, oh yeah, I haven't lost a single baby. I'm so good at this. And Dany's impressed, and she wants Miri to attend her at the birth.
Aww.
And Drogo's like, huh, you want her to? Just command her. She's a slave.
Gosh.
And
Drogo, calm down.
Yeah, like, why can't you just be... Ugh. He's a slaver, rapist, terrible person. But Dany likes him, so we're like, we don't want him to die, but we don't really like him, you know?
Yeah.
It's all these things. Anyway, so Drogo leaves, and Kotho's once again, anything happens to him, it'll happen to you. And I'm like, dude, get a new line. And Miri Mazdur's like, the great shepherd watches over all of its flock.
And it was like, yeah, you can't, it's not under your control,
words?
bro. Y'all tried to rape me, and this person came and saved me. It's like the gods were like, no, you're safe. Because, she's, what's her thing? She was like a
god's wife.
That's what it was called. So she's very religious.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about some predictions. I've totally forgotten everything.
You've turned into me.
Okay, so at this one point, they're talking about where they're gonna sell all these people to slavery, and they're like, instead of Slavers Bay, no, wait, I don't even say Slavers Bay. They're like, there's a certain city that they say, and then they're like, no, we should take them to Marine because they've had a shortage of slaves or something. Where do you think they're gonna go?
To the Marine place. The second place where they were like, oh, we should go there instead. And, yeah.
And they're gonna sell all these people, and Dany's gonna be cool with it?
Yeah. I think it'll be like, before she saved the people, when she was like, okay, this is what we have to do for me to get my throne. So I think, I think she'll be like, okay, I've done what I can while still doing what I need to do or want to do.
Okay. And so they'll get ships from the money they make and be on their way to Westeros?
Yes. Maybe, yes. There's gotta be some complication in there. So I'm trying to think of what the complication would be. Like, would it be, okay, so they get ships, and maybe they're like, oh my gosh, no, they've gotten past the fear. I was like, maybe they're like, oh, I'm scared. But then I was like, no, they haven't. Maybe, like, the place that they're going is just, like, really far. So it's gonna take some time. And that's the obstacle. Okay.
Where...
Or maybe, like, along the way, it's like, you know, like, Dany has her baby, and then they're like...
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, where is she gonna give birth?
I think she's gonna give... I think it'll be, like, they'll, like, sell the slaves and stuff, and they're like, oh, we're ready to go. And then it'll be like, never mind, Dany's going into labor. And then they'll have to, like,
delay the thing.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Alright, but, I mean, labor can be extended, but it shouldn't take more than a couple days, right?
Yeah, that's true. Maybe they're like, yeah, I don't know, but they need some sort of, like, you know, like, obstacle. Maybe it's like, they're like, oh, we don't know which way to go. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, West arose, but still.
Okay. That's, I can't think of anything else. I think that's it. And this is one of our longest episodes yet, so we should wrap it up.
Wrap.
Any final thoughts on the chapters we've talked about? Look at your notes. Tell me quickly.
Burrito wrap. That's it.
Okay. Let's talk about next chapters.
Ooh, how many are
We're reading 2.
Oh.
Hopes and Wishes.
I want to see Arya. I'm, like, concerned for her well-being. And then Eddard.
Okay.
Arya and Eddard. Father-daughter combo.
You get neither of them. Next time we're reading chapters 62 and 63.
That's lame.
Chapter 60... I haven't even told you who.
No. Like, just the fact that it's not them is lame.
Chapter 62 is Tyrion.
Ugh.
What? Did you just a Tyrion chapter?
Because I want to see Arya and Eddard.
Okay, fine.
It's not Tyrion's fault. It's just that he's not Arya or Eddard.
Okay. All right. And what are we going to see from Tyrion?
Oh, yeah. Last time we saw him, he reached his father, and his father was like, oh, haha, you're not dead. And it was this expressionless moment, and then what was oh yeah, Tyrion's with Tywin, and they're, like, going up. Ooh, yeah, okay, cool.
Going up?
So they're gonna be, like, they're going towards the...
North,
yes. I don't know why I said up instead of north, but I did. So they're going there. So maybe he's trapped.
And the
people are there with him. Yeah.
The mountain clansmen were like, we'll fight as long as he fights with us.
Yeah. So maybe...
So will he fight?
Yes, he will.
Okay, I think the last time you were like, he'll fight, but I don't know. I don't remember what exactly you said.
Yeah. So... Oh, I said, like, he'll fight, but, like, he'll be on the battlefield, but he'll, like, hide and stuff, so he won't have to, like, directly battle someone.
Right,
but, like, he'll do, like,
sneak
surprise.
Attacks.
Yeah, sneak attacks. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think they'll do that. But I don't think they'll start battle yet, because they have to... Oh, wait, no, they don't. Oh, my gosh, we have, like, the 10% of the army that's literally there to fight them. So, yeah, they're gonna fight.
No, more like the 70% of the army that's there to fight them.
Wait, really?
Yeah, because Rob's only taking the riders.
Oh.
Most of the people are foot soldiers, and all of them are going to fight Tywin.
Oh, right. Okay.
So, like, if Rob has, like, 20,000 people, I don't know, about 5,000 are going with him. The rest are going with Roose Bolton.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh my gosh, we don't like the idea of that. But anyway.
Does that change any of your predictions on success or failure?
Because I had said that the 5,000 people are gonna do it all, which, I don't know. I think maybe the 5,000 people, since there's so few of them, they might have to be smart and, like, kind of, like, hide and stuff, and, like, I don't know, kind of...
Sneak attack
and, like, plan. But I think, okay, so that makes me think that the Land Clan, in terms of Tyrion's part of the plan, might have some complications.
Okay.
So they're going to be fighting, and they're going to be losing, and then Tywin's going to be like, huddle up, boys, let's figure this out. And then, well, they can't really huddle up, but I don't know. There will be complications, there will be fighting, Tyrion will be like, I am trying to avoid death.
Cool. And will he?
Yes, he will.
Alright. Moving on. Next chapter after that is Catelyn.
Ooh, okay. Oh, so we get two parts, both of the parts of the war. Okay, so these ones are going to be war focused. Okay, cool. So Catelyn's going to be...
Or they're both going to take some very nice, long, relaxing baths. I don't really take baths. Baths suck. I like showers.
Yes.
Okay,
oh
so
gosh.
Catelyn, what are we going to see?
Catelyn, they're going to reach River Run, and they're going to see what's going on. They're going to see the siege and everything, and they're going to be like...
See the siege. Okay, go on.
So they'll see what's going on, and it's like I predicted for the other one. They're going to figure something out. They're going to have to sneak attack or do something else. Do what they got to do. But also, like, since everybody at River Run was escaping, or not escaping, but the people that are sworn to Edmure and stuff, like, they were escaping, right? Because they were like, oh, well, we're under siege, I don't want to die.
Well, if you're under siege, it means you can't leave.
No, but, sorry, like, before the siege, like, happened.
Right, the people that could
fleeing.
get out, got out. The ones that couldn't, they rushed into the castle and locked up.
Yeah, so I guess because of that, they might not be expecting them.
Okay.
I don't know. Okay, they're gonna sneak attack. That's what they're gonna do.
Alright. That's the end of that. People, we are approaching the end of this book, so if you have any theories or questions for Harmouth, send them now. Because otherwise I have to think of all of them, and I don't want to. You know what, maybe
we're so close.
There should be a week where I'll be thinking of these things, and then you reread the book. Can you read a book within a week?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, cool. I mean, I know you can, but, like, will you have time to, is what was the actual question.
I think so.
Alright, that's a plan then. And then after that, I'll just tell people, I think, we will be having our special guest star, Christina Kahn, back on the podcast to talk about one of the novellas.
Ooh.
That's all I'll say, because I don't want to tell you the name yet.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I'm excited.
Guys. It's going to be fun.
And Christina has never read that either, so 2 people who don't know, and me who knows everything. Okay, alright. That's everything. Until next time. Farewell, my friends.
Talk to you later.